Do you think the things you do every day are making your dog happy? Most dog owners believe they are. They feed them well. They walk them. They love them deeply. But here's what most people don't realize. Some of the most common everyday habits, things that feel completely harmless, even loving, are quietly causing your dog stress, confusion, and pain. And the most unsettling part? Your dog has been trying to tell you. You just didn't know how to read the signs. These are 6 everyday things that hurt your dog and what you should do instead. Number 1. Hugging your dog. You've done this 1,000 times without a second thought. You wrap your arms around your dog, pull them close, and hold on tight. It feels like the most natural expression of love in the world. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most dogs hate being hugged. Think about that. Not dislike. Hate. Dr. Stanley Coren, a canine psychologist at the University of British Columbia, analyzed over 250 photographs of people hugging dogs. In more than 80% of the images, the dogs showed clear signs of stress, turning their head away, flattening their ears, licking their lips, or showing the whites of their eyes. These are displacement behaviors, subtle distress signals, and they're happening in your arms, right now, while you think you're making your dog feel loved. Here's what's actually going on. Dogs are cursorial animals, built to run. When they feel trapped, their instinct says danger. A hug, to a human, is intimacy. To a dog, it can feel like a restraint. What should you do instead? Get low to their level. Let them come to you. Scratch behind the ears, under the chin, and along the chest. That's the language they actually understand. Number 2, staring directly into their eyes. This one feels deeply counterintuitive, especially if you've heard that making eye contact with your dog builds connection. And it can, but context matters enormously. Between a bonded dog and owner, mutual eye contact actually releases oxytocin, the same bonding hormone involved in human mother-child relationships. A landmark 2015 study published in Science confirmed this. But here's the distinction most people miss. Sustained, unbroken eye contact, especially with a dog you don't know well, or during moments of stress, is a direct threat signal in canine body language. It's a dominance challenge, a provocation. When you crouch down and hold a dog's gaze to show them you mean no harm, you may actually be doing the opposite of what you intend. Soft, brief eye contact, paired with relaxed body language, is healthy. Hard staring is not. If you're interacting with a dog, especially an unfamiliar one, look away gently, blink slowly, and let them approach on their own terms. And if you think that behavior is surprising, wait until number 4. Number 3, inconsistent rules. On Monday, your dog is allowed on the couch. Tuesday, you scold them for jumping up. Saturday, you invite them up during movie night. Sunday, guests arrive, and suddenly it's forbidden again. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Dogs don't experience fairness the way we do. They experience patterns. Their entire understanding of the world is built on predictability, on knowing what comes after what. When the rules keep changing, something shifts in your dog's emotional state. A 2018 study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs living in unpredictable environments showed significantly higher cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, compared to dogs in stable, consistent households. Chronic low-level stress like this can manifest as destructive behavior, excessive barking, anxiety, and even physical health problems over time. Your dog isn't being difficult. They're confused. And confusion, sustained over months and years, is genuinely painful for a social animal that desperately wants to understand its place. Pick a rule. Hold it. Make sure every person in your household does the same. That consistency isn't strictness, it's kindness. Number 4, using punishment after the fact. Your dog chewed your shoes while you were at work. You come home, find the damage, and correct them, sternly or with punishment. This feels logical, but it is one of the most harmful things you can do to your dog's trust in you. Dogs live almost entirely in the present tense. Their ability to connect a consequence with a behavior that happened even minutes earlier is severely limited. Research on canine cognition consistently shows that effective behavioral feedback must happen within 1 to 2 seconds of the act itself. When you scold your dog long after the event, they don't understand why. What they experience is this: their trusted person, the center of their universe, came home and became frightening without warning. They show the guilty look, not because they know what they did wrong, but because they have learned to read your tense body language. and they are offering appeasement signals to de-escalate your mood. They're trying to protect the relationship, and you're inadvertently punishing them for that. If you want to address a behavior, you have to be present for it. Otherwise, let it go and focus on prevention. Number 5, forcing social interaction. You're at the dog park, or a family gathering, or a busy sidewalk, and your dog pulls away, or freezes, or hides behind your legs. And you do what feels generous. You encourage them to move forward. You let strangers pet them anyway. You tell them it's fine, but it's not fine, not to them. Forcing a fearful or anxious dog into social situations they haven't consented to doesn't build their confidence. It erodes it. Dr. Karen Overall, a veterinary behaviorist at the University of Pennsylvania, has written extensively about how repeated forced exposure to stressors, without the dog having any control over the situation, can actually worsen anxiety disorders in dogs rather than resolve them. The dog learns something dangerous, that their signals of discomfort will be ignored, that they have no say, that the world is unpredictable and threatening, and their person won't protect them from it. Over time, this can lead to what behaviorists call learned helplessness. The dog stops signaling distress, not because they feel better, but because they've given up communicating entirely. And a dog that has stopped communicating warning signals is a dog far more likely to bite without what seems like prior warning. Read your dog. If they want to leave, let them leave. That act of respect builds more trust than any forced socialization ever could. Number 6, not letting them sniff. This one might be the subtlest item on this list, and the most overlooked. You're on a walk. You have a route. You move at a human pace, and when your dog slows to investigate a patch of grass for the 4th time, you tug the lead and keep going. Reasonable, right? Here's what you're actually doing. You're cutting off their primary sensory language. A dog's nose contains roughly 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have about 6 million. The part of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smell is, proportionally, 40 times larger than ours. When a dog sniffs a patch of ground, they are reading an entire story. Who was here, when, what they ate, whether they were stressed, and whether they were in heat. It is their newspaper, their social media, their entire experience of the world compressed into a single square foot of pavement. A 2019 study from Horowitz et al. At Barnard College found that dogs who were allowed to follow their nose during walks, what the researchers called olfactory enrichment, showed significantly lower cortisol levels and demonstrated more optimistic cognitive bias patterns compared to dogs walked at a brisk, directed pace. In other words, sniffing doesn't just make your dog happy. It actively reduces stress hormones. It makes them psychologically healthier. A shorter walk with full sniffing freedom is more enriching and more tiring than a long walk on a tight lead. Let them sniff. Those 10 seconds of standing still while they investigate the base of a lamppost. That is the walk. That is the entire point. Here's what all 6 of these things have in common. None of them comes from cruelty. Every single one comes from love, or at least from love expressed in a human language that your dog simply doesn't speak. The gap between what we intend and what our dogs experience is not a failure of love. It's a failure of translation. But the moment you start learning their language, the language of body posture and scent and consistency and choice, everything changes. The bond deepens in ways that are difficult to put into words. Your dog begins to trust you not just because you feed them, but because they feel genuinely understood. And a dog that feels understood is a dog that is, finally, truly safe. If this made you look at your dog a little differently today, subscribe. Every week, we go deeper into the psychology of the animals we share our lives with, because they deserve to be understood, not just loved.